YouTube, how's it going today? So last video we got not the last video that I did, but the last video pertaining to the 2.3 Mustang, we got the short block assembled. So now it's time to rip this old motor out of here, get the cylinder head off of it, get the ARP head studs out of it, and get it all put onto this engine because I rebuilt this one, might as well put the freshie in there. We got rear gears to throw in it, new motor mounts, bunch of new parts. So I got a weekend worth of time, so let's get at it. This might be a part 1, part 2 video, so we'll see how it goes and see how much stuff I get done. But this motor's got to come out. But first things first, we got to get this thing up in the air, get some more fluids drained out of it. Ooh, that pinch weld is not happy anymore. To the frame, to the frame. And get the transmission pulled. Might lower the exhaust out of my way. I haven't quite decided on how I'm going to tackle that. Oh, come on. You know you want to. Fine. I'll put you right there. Yeah, I might pull the exhaust. We'll see how it goes. Get from there. So I'm going to start this off by saying all of this car essentially was done in a garage on jack stands with a flux core welder. So I know the welds do look terrible, but it's underneath the car. Nobody's going to see it. But first off, we got to start out with, well, we're not going to start out with this stuff, but starting from the back, working my way forward as stuff that we're changing. We are going to put a dual caliper bracket on both sides. I have to fix my dented pan issue because kind of messed up when I was lifting this by the rear end at one point. It still holds. It's not leaking, but it's definitely messed up. This is a pan hard bar that I made myself. I don't think I'm going to get it changed out with the Maximum Motorsports one, but it should do the job. I mean, I still got both upper control arms in it. It's got stock upper replacements, SV lower control arms, V8 springs in the rear, V8 shocks in the rear. Got a 3-inch exhaust all the ways back that is cobbled together like this whole car is. Aluminum drive shaft, subframe connectors. So, first thing that's probably got to go is get this exhaust out of my way, get the drive shaft off, get the transmission draining, and work on getting that sucker out of my way. Once that's out, we can work towards getting the motor out of this thing, because I wonder if we could see it real quick. Kind of can see it. That motor mount on this side, right about there, is cobbled together. So that's one of the main things that I really need to get to, other than getting the motor replaced. I also have a bad shock on this side, which isn't too good. What else? On my turbo drain, let's see if we can see it right about there. Oh, can't really see it. Is a rubber line that is not happy. And yeah, this thing has seen better days. But, you know, it is what it is. It'll be okay. All right. Now that we've got everything torn out and the transmission is ready to pop out, I really hope my shifter's not going to get in the way, because if it does, that's going to make things so much more difficult, because it is stuck to the top of the transmission. It is not coming off. So let's see how this goes. Hopefully I don't drop a transmission. I really don't want to break it. So don't necessarily have a good spare. Well, I do have a spare, but don't necessarily want to use the spare. Okay. Twist jack is free. Get the fuck out the way. Well, that worked. That's one way of taking stuff apart, I guess. Well, there we go. And transmission is out. It's gonna come off. Well, was leaking a little bit back there too. All right. Now that that stuff's out of the way, I'm just gonna leave the clutch on until I get this thing out of here. Is there anything else that I need to worry about while I'm down here? I'm gonna say no right now. I'm gonna say no. There's nothing else for me to worry about down here. Probably gonna be wrong. It's gonna be something I'm gonna forget. But for now, let's get this oil drained. And we can continue on. Of course, I tightened that back up. Good. Oil still looks good. Did an oil change not too long ago, so it should still look good. All right, now that we got the transmission out of the way, we'll start getting this mess that I call an engine bay apart. Pop some stuff off. Just about my way. Oh, work with me here. This guy out of there. Stay. Pop this guy up in here. I pre-loosened that stuff, so don't worry. It wasn't loose the entire time. Now we can get this guy up here. We'll just leave that there. Get that guy off. Yeah, that turbo is still doing good. Should be no pressure in that. Hopefully it doesn't make a mess on me. That's a quarter. That's a quarter. That's the right one. That's the right one. Oh, this is going to make a mess. Every single time makes a mess. Every single time. You could drain it. It's not going to be enough. It's going to make a mess. Okay. Pause this for a second. And we're back. All right. This guy off. Okay. Decides to not make a mess. Nope, there's definitely still coolant in that. Come on. You know you want to come apart. Please don't fight me. Please don't fight me. No. That sounded crunchy. Not a quarter. It's a 7. Where did I get 7mm hose clamps from? That in itself is a conundrum. All right. Let's see. I messed this up. Nothing? Good. Oh, you sucker. Want to use a different word there, but know how YouTube can be. Start cursing too much and they start saying your stuff's explicit. Even though, small YouTube channel. They probably don't care about me. But, I try to keep it friendly. How are these loose? I crank these down. Well, it's a good thing I'm tearing this thing back apart. That's going to make getting that manifold off a little bit difficult, but figured I'd start with the easy side of the motor before I get into all that. Really, the only things that are holding the turbo on now are bolts and the exhaust. Or not the exhaust, the wideband sensor. Oh, what drawer? What drawer? Which drawer are you? There we go. And I need to take this hood off. It'll make life a lot easier. Probably end up doing that tomorrow. I am getting pretty tired. But still trying to see what kind of headway I can make. Come on. Alright, wideband is out. Just stay. Will you stay? See here. What size are you guys? I knew I was going to irritate myself by using different bolts, yet I still did it. Actually, they're all the same bolts. Never mind. I did put the right bolts in it the last time I messed with this. One, two, three, Oh, can't get to that one. 7. Okay. All right. Only one that I can't really get to. It's fine. I will just get a wrench. Wrench will get it. I don't know about you guys, but I got Milwaukee tools up the wazoo. Man, are they some good stuff? Oh, come on. No? Other than this thing doesn't really like it'll pull bolts, but if it's got too much resistance on it, which I think it's just because of the long neck, it won't pull the bolt out. You know what? I'll put you guys on a time lapse. This is taking a lot longer than I thought. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll be quick at it. Kind of talk while I'm working on it. No, I'm not quick at it. So, put you on a time lapse. We'll see what I can get done before I call her quits tonight. Then we'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow morning. Like I said, I got 2 days to get this done. Well, 2 days and a night. So, I gotta get stuff done. I mean, motor's almost out though. Not almost out. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say almost out. 3/4 of the way out. Transmission's out. This side of the motor's out. A lot of the other stuff's disconnected, so mainly there. So, got this thing pretty well torn apart. All that's left is pull 2 motor mounts, yank this sucker out of here, but it's getting late. So, I'm going to wake up bright and early tomorrow, come back in, keep working at it. I think I got a buddy that might be willing to help me work on this old turd. So, we'll get, this thing yanked apart, get that engine starting to go back together, and I also got a rack to try to throw in it because this rack leaks out of where the input goes in for the steering. So I'm going to get that put on there, and I also need to replace this strut over here. I have one, but I don't know if it's going to work, but it might. So we'll see if I get that one replaced, but right now we're just trying to get this old turd out of here. There's a couple things that I want to try to do. I'd like to try to tap the valve cover for an actual fitting instead of that plastic or that other fitting that I had in it that barely did anything. Get the block tapped maybe if I have a big enough tap. I honestly don't know if I do or not. And put a regular fitting in there instead of this old hunk of metal. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. But I'm gonna go get some sleep now. So see you guys in the morning.
The next day.
All right. So things that we are going to change and fix from this motor to the new one is we're getting rid of the square tooth design, going to the round tooth, which was on a later model. I bought this heavy duty tensioner and the dang wheel had popped off on me. So it's all beat up and chewed up and causing the belt to ride weird. As you can see, it's not riding completely flat here. So we're going to get that changed out. And here's that motor mount I was talking about. It's basically was a copy from this side, as you can see. It was a Rock Auto Special / Auto Parts Special. This is what you get nowadays. And there's my drain for the turbo. Wasn't the greatest idea, but I mean, it still feels good. Still works. It worked. Ooh, that would have been bad. That would have been real bad. Anyways, back over to this cobbled motor mount. So with my eyeballing CAD design, I thought I chopped it enough to make it fit, but I did not. So I put a bunch of spacers in there to get this to where it would work. Basically, I just cut this ear off, extended it a little bit, and welded it back on, but I didn't do it on the engine. I did it, on a bench, and it didn't turn out quite perfect. So we're gonna get that replaced with some new motor mounts. Get this old greasy thing torn apart. All right, and with that, I think I'm gonna call it for this video. So we're gonna do a part 2 and maybe even a part 3, seeing how things go. In the next video, we're gonna get cylinder head off, valve cover off, start getting this engine assembled, hopefully get this engine stabbed back in there. Got some couple things that I need to change and kind of clean up in the engine bay before we do stab this thing in there. But I appreciate your time. Like, comment, subscribe, and be ready for part 2.